So as expected, the mineral avengers are out to come and talk about the only thing they know how to talk about, oil, when it comes to what just happened in Venezuela. So let's talk about Venezuela. Around the 1920s, that was when Venezuela discovered that they have oil, and America became good friends with them. Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves in the world, like 12% bigger than the oil reserves of Saudi. But information that the oil avengers don't know, not all oil are the same. For example, the oil in Saudi is light, easy to refine. Venezuela's oil is heavy and difficult to refine, and because of that, just a few refineries in the world can handle it. The oil industry that you see in Venezuela was literally built by America. Why would they do that? Well, at that time, Venezuela did not have the infrastructure or money to build them, and definitely did not have the technology to run them or do anything with them. Because unlike Nigeria that we had different things to run on, Venezuela really didn't have anything much. It was a very poor country back then. Apart from coffee, I can't really think of what else they were exporting at that time. So around 1928 to like 1930, Venezuela became one of the world's top exporter of oil. In like less than 10 years, Venezuela became one of the richest country in the world. So now we move to the 1970s, where all the Arab nations came to come and destroy a little country called Israel, and America backed Israel. So all the Arab nations that deal in oil put an oil embargo on America. So the price of fuel shoot up. At that time, fuel was like $1 a barrel to like $12 a barrel. That's like a 500% increase in price. Because of that, that literally killed the muscle power cars of the 1970s, which I'm cursing each and every one of you guys for doing that. Oh yeah, and caused a lot of problem in the world, making fuel quite expensive. Venezuela is the only country in the world that I think this thing the Arabs did not affect. Actually, even increased the billions of dollars they already had. After that, around 1975, Venezuela nationalized its oil industry, creating Venezuela Petroleum, the state-owned company that will run their oil. Oh boy. As we are Nigerians, we all know how all state-run things end up. Anyway, even after they created their own state-run oil company, they still needed the US, because US is like the only country that can refine their fuel. Now that I think of it, most of those companies were built specifically for Venezuelan oil. And before any of you mineral avengers say anything, this was beneficial to both of them. The companies made money and Venezuela made a lot of money. Venezuela was making billions of dollars and American companies made money. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Until Hugo Chavez came into power, the socialist president of Venezuela. You gotta love socialism. He took back all his oil from the evil American companies. Well, that's what they tell you. Hugo was against and fighting America politically, but not business-wise. So he was literally doing like, screw democracy, socialism is the best. You're coming next week to carry the oil, you're going to carry, but you increase the money now. You know, see oil everywhere, don't increase. And before anybody out there say that's not what happened, that's not possible, look at right now. NATO forces and everyone were saying F Russia, Russia is a dictator, Russia is invading stuff, but we're still buying oil from Russia that America had to complain about. So yeah, it happens. So Hugo was enjoying the money that he was getting from the oil. Don't deceive yourself that he kicked America out. So you remember what I said, that we Nigerians, we know how state-run companies work in Nigeria? Well, Hugo got into power and removed all the people that are there and put what his loyalists, his friends. And you know the problem putting your loyalists and your friends? You putting people that have no clue and no idea of what to do in this company or how to run these companies. And you know what happens when you do all of that? Say it with me now. Corruption, money losing, production will always collapse. And what happens when you do all of that? Your economy will crash. In 2013, Hugo died. He handpicked one of his loyalists to take over, Nicolas Maduro. So that's their new president. To be fair, Nicolas inherited a failing country the same way Tinubu inherited a failing country. But the same as Tinubu and Nicolas, they are part of the reason that the country was failing. And just like how it always happened, the new president is going to make it worse. Around 2017, out of 84 plants that used to get oil in Venezuela, guess how many were still working? 8 plants. Think about it. Only 8 out of 84 is still working. And I'm sure that 8 are even struggling to work, dropping their oil production to just 20%. And for those that will say sanctions, at 2017, US sanction was only on Venezuelan individuals like politicians and stuff like that. People that don't follow human rights, terrorists, drug lords, and corrupt politicians that if you just look at them, you can smell the corruption. At that time, Venezuela was selling its oil to everybody, including the US. And it was. Sanctions came only at 2019. Venezuela was already already suffering from the years of corruption, people that don't know what to do, and every other thing that you can think of. It's like literally saying Nigeria is where it is right now because America just put a travel ban on Nigerians. Yeah, let's completely forget the 210 trillion naira that disappear and nobody know where it is, and all the corruption happening in Nigeria. Yeah, let's blame Nigerian corruption right now on just the ban. 2019, you know who was president then? Trump. He put a ban on Venezuelan petroleum, that company, the state-owned company, and that actually affected and damaged a lot of American oil company, because if you remember, those companies were specifically made because of the oil in Venezuela, so they lost a huge ton of money too. So why did Trump put an embargo on them? Well, that's because Nicholas suspended the election and was nosediving into becoming a dictator in Venezuela. That sanctions were not about oil because, as I said, North America too, it was about politics. It was a move done to support the opposition party in Venezuela and the Venezuela people. And why do that? Because the opposition party of Venezuela won the election, beating Nicholas, defeating Nicholas, and Nicholas refused to step down. It's like the next election for Nigeria. Whoever is coming out against Tinubu beats Tinubu in a landslide, and Tinubu refused to step down, and that's when America decided to put the oil embargo on Nigeria. I'm guessing the oil Avengers and everybody else that is talking shit about this, you guys didn't know about this part, or your overlords didn't tell you that he's not the legitimate president and shouldn't even be in seat. Anyway, for 6 years, even though he's not the president, lost the election, he's been running the country. Broke. He is broke. The oil sanctions are really caught up to him. So where did Nicholas shift his attention to? Drug trafficking, human trafficking, money from terrorist organization, etc. What you people really don't know that Nicholas really wants the American companies to come back and continue giving him billions of dollars. A couple of weeks ago, Nicholas offered America all of their oil, like he's giving it to them if they just leave him alone. Forget all that military they're showing you guys and stuff like that. Nicholas wanted to make a deal with America, like take everything, just leave me in power and stuff like that. You can have the oil, just be giving us money. So scratch that. Nicholas was giving America all their natural resources, including the oil. Any other natural resources they have or mineral, he was offering to the America, and Trump said no, including he's going to reduce his ties with China and Russia if Trump just let him be. So mineral Avengers, if it was truly just only about oil, Trump would have taken the deal. America would have taken the deal. Oil is just part of one of the plenty problems they have with Venezuela. You just only talk about oil because that's the only thing you know. Now let us talk about the woman that won the election and Nicholas said hell no to. I ain't stepping down. Maria Corina Machado. I'm just going to be calling her Maria from here. The people of Venezuela, that's the people on the ground suffering, are calling her a light in freedom, seeing her as like a liberator from socialism. And then the liberal left and the people in power, because you know the liberal left and the people in power who Trump is always fighting against always have to come to their defense, see her as nothing more than an American puppet. The fun thing is, this woman have been fighting for the freedom of her country for like 20 years. The previous leader before Nicholas, that's where she started her fight from, long before even Trump even thought of becoming a president. There is nothing this woman have not seen: beating, death threats, and death, disqualification, so people won't come out and vote for her, and the arrest of her entire team. Sounds familiar. Sounds like almost everything that the left was doing for Trump when Trump wanted to run again for presidency. The only key difference is Venezuelan government actually banned her from the ballots, unlike America, and she had to go and get somebody to run in her place. She still won, like getting like 92% of the vote. That's literally said everybody in the country do not want Nicholas, and he refused to step down. She's the only person that Nicholas is actually afraid of. This woman has been banned from everything: TV, radio, anything you can think of in that country. If she goes to a hotel or she's going to a hotel, they will close down the hotel. If she's going to pass through a road, they will close down the road. If anybody help her, like one person helped her cross a particular bridge that was being blocked off by his boat, the next day the government confiscated his boat. He has even banned her from leaving the country. If you guys don't know, she was the lady that won the Nobel Peace Prize last year over Trump and dedicated her award to Trump. She couldn't even leave in time to go and accept the award. It was her daughter that accepted it. She had to be smuggled out of her own country to go and win that award, or to go and get that award. Get this, she's banned from radio, TV, and everything, and when she's going to go and speak somewhere, millions of people from the country will walk hours to go and hear her speak. And how do they know that she's coming? Word of mouth. Her country was dead on hope. She has given her people back hope. Trump has praised her on many occasions. Somehow those people that like coming out to see that Trump hates women, there's one that he doesn't hate. Now you don't really have to believe anything I say or anybody out there. Let's listen to the woman who's fighting for her country, what she has to say about her country and what's going on.
Some people talk about invasion in Venezuela, the threat of an invasion in Venezuela, and I answered, Venezuela has been already invaded. We have the Russian agents, we have the Iranian agents, we have terrorist groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, operating freely in accordance with the regime. We have the Colombian guerrilla the drug cartels that have taken over 60% of our populations, and not only involved in drug trafficking, but in human trafficking, in networks of prostitution. So this has turned Venezuela into the criminal hub of the Americas. And what sustained the regime is a very powerful and funded, strongly funded repression system. Where does that funds come from? Well, from drug trafficking, from the black market of oil, from arms trafficking, for human trafficking. We need to cut those flows. And once it happens and repression is weakened, it's over, because that's the only thing the regime has left, violence and terror. So we ask the international community to cut those sources, because the other regimes that support Maduro and the criminal structure are very active and had turned Venezuela into the safe haven for their operations into the rest of Latin America.
Now, if you believe that you know better than this woman fighting for her life and the life of her country, you can say whatever you want to say. You look like an idiot, but you know, freedom of speech. And it's quite funny. People that are suffering in situations like this will come out and tell you people, this is happening, we're suffering, we befell this person, we're thanking God for this. People that have not seen any type of suffering will come and tell, oh, you people are stupid, you don't know what you're saying, you will suffer, you see. There's no suffering this kind of people have not seen. For example, all of you people that are coming out to say international law, Trump is bad, this is that. Look at the people of Venezuela. Look at how they are behaving.
El pueblo finalmente está libre. El pueblo llora por su libertad. Gracias a los Estados Unidos por liberarnos. ¡Y viva la libertad! Oye, el dictador cayó. Finalmente. Estamos libres, estamos libres. ¡Viva Venezuela libre! Gracias, Dios. Gracias. Oye, el dictador cayó finalmente. Granadito, hermano, esto es real. Estamos libres. Mira, mira cómo está la gente. ¡Viva Venezuela libre! Gracias a Dios, esto es para todos los que aguantaron, se logró.
I came in this country when I was 10 years old, and ever since I was born, every single person in power of the country has abused us and abused of their power. We have been living in a dictatorship for about 20 years. So I can tell you, this feels like a breath of fresh air.
Did you feel this was the only way to get him out?
100%, yes. He will not leave. He's not the real president of Venezuela. No, it's not an act of war, it's an act of freedom.
At the end of the day, I really don't know what's going to happen in Venezuela. I can't make prediction. I'm just going to wait and see. Those that have already predicted bad. I mean, they have been predicting bad since, 2016? And all their predictions have gone wrong. I have no reason to believe them. So I'm just going to wait and see. One thing that's quite fun, Joe Biden and the left, they were siding with the people of Venezuela when Trump was doing some things with the government of Venezuela and stuff like that. Now that he has turned side and handled this, they have now switched side and start supporting a government that they have been calling dictative and bad. Anything to just go against Trump. That's the bottom line, because I'm on the graph set too.
It's 4:30 in the morning. Let's go wake up my husband and tell him that Nicolas Maduro was captured by the United States. Joel. Amor.
Sí, amor.
Capturaron a Nicolas Maduro.
¿Eh?
Capturaron a Nicolas Maduro.
Mentira.
No.
Eso es jodiendo, no capturaron nada. Mentira.
Joel, ¿qué hago yo levantándote a las 5 de la mañana diciéndote esto?
No, eso es mentira. Sufran, coño, que sufran. Celebrar, coño, celebrar la libertad, coño, la libertad. Gracias a Estados Unidos. Dios mío, qué notición, qué noticia. Dímelo aquí.
Te dije.
Vamos. Ahora vienen los cabrones estos, ahora que vengan estos ahora, están cagados. Cagados están.
dice Cuba que es un acto criminal.
Acto criminal es lo que tienen con ellos, lo tenían con los venezolanos. Eso es un acto criminal. Es un día emocionante, en muchos sentidos.